የኢትዮጵያ ሚዲያ ቴስት ቪዲዮ ላይ ነው ያለነው። ኦዲዮ ሴቲንግ፣ ፒክቸር ኳሊቲ አንዳንድ ነገሮችን ቼክ እያረኩ ነው ያለሁት። ከያላችሁበት በማንኛውም ጊዜ ኮሜንት ማድረግ ትችላላችሁ። አልፎ አልፎ ከኮምፒውተርም ሪከርድ ስለማድረግ እነሱንም እንድትሰሙ አብረን እንድንሰማቸው ፈልጋለሁ እና የትኛውን ሜትድ መጠቀም እንዳለብኝ ደግሜም ስለማየው እኔም የትኛው የተሻለ እንደሆነ ኮሜንት መደራረግ እንችላለን።
So the whole world keeps on talking about how Jewish people are great at business. And, instead of fighting it, instead of calling that anti-Semitic, I'm going to go in the opposite direction, and I'm just going to own it. If everybody is saying that, then it must be true. So I, as a Orthodox Jewish person, would love to share with you some Jewish business secrets, my top 10 Jewish business secrets. And I hope that you're going to enjoy them. This is great stuff. This is stuff that we've known for thousands of years. And I think that you're really going to appreciate it. And by the way, if you're here to hate, just go somewhere else. This is about love. This is about education. This is about growing. And go take your hate somewhere else. You're not welcome here. But for everybody else that genuinely wants to learn, genuinely wants to grow, I think you're going to get a ton of value. So let's just jump right in. So number one, Jewish business secret is we actually have a commandment to teach our children how to earn a living. There's actually two things you have a commandment to. Teach your child how to earn a living and teach your child how to swim, believe it or not. And they're kind of related if you think about it.
To swim.
So it says that if you don't teach your child how to earn a living, it's as if you're teaching them how to steal. Because if they don't know how to earn a living, then the only other way to make money is through theft. So teach your children. Fathers have a commandment to teach their sons, to teach their children how to make a living. And that's number one. Number two, you have to be honest in all of your business dealings. Now, I know there's some haters here that are going to start talking about how Jewish people this and Jewish people that in business. But look, you don't get to be in business for thousands of years, and you don't get to top the industries for no reason. And there's only so long that a person can be dishonest until finally it catches up with them. So honesty is something huge. As a matter of fact, in the Old Testament, in the Bible, it says that you have to have honest weights. It used to be in the market, people had different weights to weigh their grain. You think that is something that we don't talk about. The opposite. We embrace it. We have an extremely positive relationship with it. Number four, we help our community. This is something that people talk about that they don't like about the Jewish community. Well, I have other friends, by the way, from different communities, and they tell me that they literally trying to destroy each other when it comes to business. They're not happy to see each other succeed. The Jewish community takes the opposite approach. We try our best to support each other. We try our best to help each other as much as we can. And you might say, hey, that's not fair, but you have to understand we're a family. Just like you're a community, you're a family with your community. Try helping your community and see how much more you guys will take off together and how much you guys will succeed with each other. Number five, we give at least 10% of our earnings to charity. So that means that the more successful a person becomes, usually what happens in the world is the more their ego gets a hold of them and the more money hungry they get. In our community, we give charity in order, A, to stay humble, and B, it encourages us to make even more than we need. If a person doesn't give charity, technically you can make what you need and then you could relax the rest of the day. One of the big motivations for us is to give charity. So there's no limit to how much we can make, because even if we are satiated, we try to make more in order to give more charity. Number six, it's preferable to be an owner than to be a worker. It says in the Bible that when there's a Hebrew slave that works for a master, and they work for them for 7 years, and they want to continue working for that master, at the end of 7 years, they actually used to take a nail and put it through his ear and put it into the door. Why? Because it reminds the person that really a person should only be working for God, and only God should be their master. It is preferable to be an owner, to be a boss, than to be a worker. Number 7, don't do to other people what you wouldn't want done to you. In other words, the world calls it karma, but it's a real business secret. When you treat others with respect, and when you treat others properly, and you don't do to them what you wouldn't want done to you, that will come back to you full circle. Number 8, you keep 1/3 of your money in cash, 1/3 of your money in real estate, and 1/3 of your money in inventory. That way, if something happens to any one of your income streams, God forbid, you're hedged and you're protected. Number 9, we take 1 day off from work every single week. That means no emails, no phone calls, not even thinking or speaking about work. And that day for us is called Shabbat, the Sabbath. That's a day where we recharge, where we rejuvenate, where we don't involve ourselves in business. So that way, when Sunday and Monday morning comes, we are ready to hit the ground with a vigor because we had a chance to have some downtime. And number 10, probably the most important of all, on the American dollar bill, it says the beautiful words, "In God we trust." So at the core of our business dealings, we trust God. We trust God that He's going to give us success. That's why we're not afraid to take calculated risks, because we understand that we are not part of a random cosmic cycle that you could be burned at any given time. No. We trust that there is a creator of the universe. We trust that He will reward us if we try our hardest. He will reward the work of our hands. And when we go out into our work, we trust that God will bless us, and this gives us confidence to keep on growing. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's definitely a different spin on the whole narrative. If you did enjoy it, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, leave me a comment. If you loved the video, leave me a comment. If you hated the video, leave me a comment. I would love to hear from you guys. God bless you, and thank you for spending this time with me. I wish you a lot of success in all of your business. Today I'm going to be discussing the Jewish circular economy. A lot of people have said that Jewish people are good at business. Now, instead of me calling this anti-Semitism, I'm going to double down and say, heck yeah, we're good at business. Let me teach you some of the secrets that we've accumulated over the past 3,000 years. This being one of the biggest and baddest secrets that we have. You're going to want to stay until the very end of this video, because that's when it's going to all start to make sense. And you're going to be able to apply this not only to yourself, but your community and everybody around you. My name is Beryl Solomon. If this is your first time on my page, please hit the subscribe button. Please leave me a like. Please leave me a comment so that we could be connected more often. Let's jump in. The Jewish circular economy. Let me explain to you how this works. So there's a few core businesses that Jewish people are involved in. Let me first explain to you what type of businesses we go into. So one is, it's a business that has to make a lot of money. To be Jewish, it's expensive. I myself, thank God, have 5 kids, and hopefully I'll have more than 5 more. It's expensive to be a Jew, and we need to make a lot of money. So that's number one. Whatever business we go into has to be lucrative. Number two, it has to be moral. It is very rare, if ever, actually I can almost guarantee this, you will never find an Orthodox Jewish man in the strip club business. Yes, it makes a lot of money, but it is not a moral business. Let's talk about some businesses that do make a lot of money and are moral. So let's just talk about like real estate, for example, okay? Let's call real estate one of the core businesses. So here's the circular economy explained. So a Jewish man gets a real estate deal. Let's call it 200 units in the Bronx, okay, somewhere, right? And he buys the deal. First of all, the deal most likely is probably coming from a Jewish broker or one of his other Jewish friends in the real estate business. So once he secures that deal, he needs to go finance that deal. So who's the first logical person for him to pick up the phone to? A Jewish friend that is in finance, right? There's Jewish people that own banks, there's Jewish mortgage brokers, there's Jewish lenders out there. He's going to pick up the phone and he's going to call his buddy that he sees in synagogue every day, because his buddy knows that he's a good guy, he trusts him, and he knows that if spit hits the fan, he knows exactly where he sits, exactly where his house is, exactly who to talk to make sure he could get through to him. So Jewish businessman is going to buy the piece of real estate. He's going to want to finance it with one of his Jewish buddies. And now he's going to have to service that piece of real estate, right? There's snow removal, there's cleaning supplies, there's construction that's going to need to be done. All of those, he's going to try to hire Jewish people and Jewish companies in order to try to fulfill this. And I'm going to explain to you all why. It's going to make sense to you, like I said, by the end, but you got to stick to the end. So now he's hired his buddies to do the construction, like I said, to do the remodeling, to do the construction supplies. Whatever it is, he's going to try to hire Jewish. And now those companies, so for example, like as I mentioned, the construction company, right? That construction company also needs services. The construction company needs accountant, it needs advertising, it needs office space, it needs all types of ancillary services. So even the supporting, the direct services to the real estate, the supporting service, right? The construction company, we're just using one of them for example, he's going to try to hire Jewish people to do his indirect services. He's going to hire a Jewish business accountant. He's going to try to hire a Jewish lawyer. He's going to try to rent his office space from his buddy Shlomo, who owns the office building right next to his synagogue. You see what I mean? He's going to try to give that business to those people. And by the way, all the while, all of these people all along the way, guess what they're all doing? Circular economy. They're taking tithes, they're taking at least 10% of their earnings, of their profits, and they're pushing it down to charity. So that means, and by the way, their own charities, their own synagogues, their own schools, their own food banks, their own disability centers. Why? Because they want to create this circular economy. Now let me tell you why. You might be watching it this far, and you might say to yourself, how is it fair? Why is it okay that they can do this, that we can do this? First of all, not only is it okay, but you're going to understand why and how you could apply this to yourself and your community going forward. So let me give you some reasons why a circular economy is good for you. So number one is, this is probably the biggest one, trust. Everybody in this circle, okay? If he has a problem with, let's say the real estate guy has a problem with the company that's supplying to him his supplies, his cleaning supplies for his building, and he has a dispute, right? So he ordered $10,000 worth of garbage bags. The garbage bags turned up faulty. Now they have a problem. So he knows, the real estate operator knows, that if he has a problem with any of the people that he's doing business with, because they are Jewish, they have common friends, they have common rabbis, they have common associates, and they will be embarrassed to screw each other. They won't mess each other up because they go to synagogue with each other. They go to school, their kids go to school with each other, right? So they're going to be very careful in order to treat each other with respect and dignity. So trust is the number one thing. Here's another thing. They think the same. Okay? A lot of times, I'll get on the phone with people from different cultures. I remember when I was the vice president of my college, and I remember people think different. We had somebody who represented the LGBT community. We had somebody who represented the African American community. We had somebody who represented the Chinese community in the school. We had the evangelical community. All of us came to the table. We were trying to make policies, and I remember we all thought very different. We all had different priorities. So they're creating this circular economy. Why? Because they think the same. And then number three is because they're a big family. We are a big family, right? So it makes sense that you should want to see the people around you succeed. It makes sense that you should want to give the business to your brother, to your neighbor, to your cousin, to your uncle. Why? Because we are taught in Judaism, and I see a lot of communities, they don't understand this, and they have to get better at this. we want to see each other succeed. We want to see each other grow because we understand. Check this out, and it's all going to start to make sense, right? I told you to watch to the end. We understand that if we're all doing well, the excess flow of all this money gets pushed down back into the community charities. So when my neighbor, my Jewish neighbor does well, and he's making a lot of money, and he now is going to donate that money to my kid's school, right? Let's say that's one of his charities, right? He's going to donate that money to my kid's school. That's good for me. My kid's going to have new whiteboards, new blackboards. He's going to have new equipment, new gyms, new whatever it is. So I want to push money, and I want to push business towards people in my economy, in my community. Why? Because my community directly benefits, and when my community is doing good, I benefit from that doing good. So this is not unique, by the way, to the Jewish community. I don't care what sect you're from. I don't care what religion, what race. Everybody could establish this circular community. I hope this brought you value. If it did, if you made it to this point, you're awesome. I love you. Smash that subscribe button. Leave a like. Hit a comment. I love you dearly. Thank you for being here. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with your boy, Big B. God bless. Have a great day, and I'm looking forward to seeing your success. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this day's very, very special episode of the Beryl Solomon Show. Today's show, ladies and gentlemen, is about how to bank your first $100,000. Number one, we're going to just jump right into it. Number one, you got to commit to bank $1 million. Because I tell you what, if you commit to bank 100,000, you're not going to hit your goal. If you want to bank 100,000, you got to commit to bank $1 million. It's a principle called 10x. I live it in my life. Whatever goal that I have, I multiply that goal by 10. It's a concept I learned from Grant Cardone. You have to understand that anything that you think you want to accomplish is 10 times harder, is going to take 10 times longer, is going to take 10 times the amount of effort as you believe that it's going to do. So how do you bank 100,000? You got to commit to bank $1 million. Once you have that goal, once you set it large enough, because let's be honest, ladies and gentlemen, $100,000 is not a lot of money. It's not. It's like maximum 2 years of living. Commit to banking $1 million. That's the first step to getting 100,000. In your heart, you got to commit and say, I can do this. I am worthy of it. I have a goal. I got to commit, make $1 million bucks. Let's roll. Second step, make sure you have the proper vehicle. These are all really important, but this one is extremely important. You cannot bank 100,000 with one lemonade stand selling lemonade for 25 cents a cup. You just can't. You got to make sure that wherever you are working, you could bank that $100,000. Here's businesses that I don't like. Restaurants, terrible businesses, super high in staff, super high hours, really hard to bank 100,000. If you want to bank 100,000 bucks, you got to make sure that whatever vehicle you're in, whatever job that you're in, whatever you're doing, that there's a lot of money coming in, because you got to spend money, right? Life is not about just accumulating. It's also about spending. And the problem is most people spend more than they have coming in. You got to make sure that the vehicle that you are using to make that $100,000 is capable of producing more than $100,000, because you need money to live. And you need to be able to retain. In order to be able to retain, you have to have excess. Make sure the job you're working at or the business you're about to open has the capability to support. I have friends who sell salad or who have home bakeries. Bad business. You're not going to make $100,000. The vehicle cannot support getting you to that amount of money. Revenue is a whole other situation. You have to earn way more than $100,000 a year in order to be able to bank $100,000. Which brings me to my next point. You have to hold on to previous revenue streams. I see so many guys now and girls who get good at a job. They were in a sales position or whatever position it was, and they decide that they want to go start their own business. You know what the problem is when you leave your job and you start your own business? You start from $0. You have no revenue stream coming in. That is a bad idea, ladies and gentlemen. You have to hang on to any revenue stream that you could get. The problem is that people open up a second revenue stream and they've completely neglect and forget about or quit. They cut off their first revenue stream, which was like a fire hose. You cannot get to $100,000 in savings if you're busy trying to get every little drop. If you worked at a previous job and now you're going to go start your own business, or if you had your own business and you want to go now open up a new business or a new division, whatever, don't forget about your first stream of revenue. Don't forget about your bread and butter. Practical example, if you're a bookkeeper that now wants to go open up their own bookkeeping business and you are a bookkeeper for a particular company, do not leave go of that relationship, of that stream of income that you had being a bookkeeper at that other company. Have them as one of your clients and keep that revenue stream open and work there for 1 day a week. What's the big deal? And then go build your business the other 4 days a week. You have to have as many streams of revenue as you can. When I resigned from my father's company, I held on to key accounts. Obviously, it's a family business, so it's a little bit easier, I will admit that. But I hung on to a few key accounts and managed them and serviced them and took a few hours of my day to make sure that that revenue stream didn't dry up while I was building my other revenue stream. Make yourself a bridge. Make it easy. Walk across. Don't jump. Don't risk it. 4. Here's something super important that people totally miss all the time. If you want more money and you're working in a company, you have to get close to the money. Let me give you an example. One step up from the controller or the CFO is a salesperson. That is the closest that you could possibly be to the money in a company. Let me explain. You are dealing with clients on a day-to-day basis. You are bringing in the money to the company. You are actively involved in the revenue of the company. So most companies, for their salesmen, what do they say? They say, if you bring money into my company, I will share that money with you. So for example, at Wealthy Commercials, every dollar that any of our employees bring in, they get a percentage of the money that's brought into the company. Why? Because they're close to the money. The closer you are to the money, by the way, you're even closer in sales to the money than you are as the owner, because you only have money coming in when you're in sales versus when you're owner, you have money coming in, but you got a whole lot of money going out too. You want to make more money in a company, you want to get close to 100,000, make sure that you are as close to the money as possible, and that is CFO, controller, or sales, my personal favorite. That's where you can make unlimited amounts of money, but it has to be with the proper company and the proper vehicle. You're not going to do it owning a bakery. I don't like the food business. The numbers you're working with are not big enough. So a bakery, you're selling things that are 71 cents, $1.25, $4.50. You have to sell things that are $4,500, $45,000 in order to be able to get your numbers up to a point where you could bank 100,000 and ultimately bank $1 million, because 100,000 is not going to get you anywhere. Next, get really good at what you do. Super important, ladies and gentlemen. Go out there, find out who the best are in your space and learn from them. Read their books, watch their content, watch their YouTube videos, and make sure that you're learning from the best. The better you are at your profession or your business or your job, higher paid you're going to be. Don't just go into a job for a paycheck. Go into a job to be the best in your space, the most powerful in your space, to the point where you become so indispensable to the company that you're working for that they're willing to sign any check to make sure that you hang around, that they're willing to make any amount of money available to you to make sure that you could do your job. Become great at what you do, study the greats, listen to the right people, and become amazing. Number 6, this one is really difficult. Stay broke. Let me tell you what I mean by stay broke. Every single dollar that comes into Wealthy Commercials has 15% taken right off the top and I put into a bank account that I cannot touch. Every person watching this right now should go to your local bank, not your current bank. So if you bank with TD or if you bank with Chase or whoever it is, go to a bank account that you do not bank with, open up a bank account that you have no access to, and take a percentage of your paycheck. I suggest 40% of your paycheck as a goal. Obviously, it's very hard to get there, but 40% of your gross paycheck, take that off of it and put into a bank account that you have zero access to and you cannot touch. That is the first step to building wealth, is staying broke. This watch that I'm wearing, it's fake, all right? I bought it for $40 on Amazon. Doesn't even work. Does not work. Does not tick. I'm not going to go buy a $5,000 watch. You know why? I'd rather my $5,000 sitting in the bank where I cannot touch it than trying to be a big shot and have people think how rich I am because I bought a $5,000 or $25,000 Rolex. I'm just not going to do it. Stay broke, ladies and gentlemen. That is the way to accumulate wealth. If you are spending money frivolously, if you have no money in the bank and you just went to bought the biggest, baddest car or iPhone or whatever it is you could afford, shame on you, because you are robbing yourself. You're only fooling yourself. Stay broke, put money aside, take a part off of every paycheck that you get, put it into a bank account, start somewhere. I did this and it changed my life. You cannot bank $100,000 without putting money in the bank. Don't take financial advice from your broke uncle. Everybody has a broke uncle that tries to give them advice on what it is that they think that earning wealth is about. Do not take advice from anybody that has not achieved the level of success that you are not looking to achieve. I go to people who have seen it, take advice from those people. Don't take advice from anybody. You know, today's very scary. Everybody has an iPhone, everybody has YouTube, and literally everybody and his brother is trying to spew out advice. If somebody's trying to teach you how to make $100,000 and he doesn't have 100 grand, then don't listen to that guy because he's a fraud. Check the credentials of the people that you are following, because it is very important to understand where your information is coming from. Next, this is what separates the men from the boys and the ladies from the girls. You have to fight through the pain. It is connected to my number 5, which was my number 6, which was stay broke. It is very painful to stay broke. You have to be so disciplined when you have everybody coming at you from left, right, and center, trying to get you to buy this, to buy that, to whatever. It's very, very, very painful when everybody is trying to get at your money and you have to literally protect it and fight it and ward it. It's very tempting. We want immediate gratification. I explained to my wife last night that there's a concept of cash flow, right? So meaning, if we can't afford it this week, we could wait till next week where more funds are going to come in, or the week after that where more funds are going to come in. We want everything now. My suggestion is wait as long as humanly possible to buy things. If you have $5,000 cash in your bank account, okay, and you need to buy $5,000 worth of furniture to furnish your first house, do not take that $5,000 and pay cash for your furniture. Rather, finance that furniture at a very agreeable rate of $231 a month over the next 36 months, whatever the math is, and pay it over the next 3 months. Don't touch your $5,000 that you have in your bank account. I know it's painful. I know it's hard. Everyone's going to tell you to do it. And when you just spend it, you have it anyways. Protect your capital at all costs. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was the show for today. How to bank your first $100,000 with Beryl Solomon. Thank you guys for watching. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Beryl Solomon, and today we're going to be discussing 10 Jewish business commandments. These are things that we have known for over 3,000 years, and they are coming to you right now in this video. If this is your first time here, please smash the subscribe button. Please give me a like and leave a comment. I would love to hear from you. I might even hit you back in the comments. So let's go. 10 Jewish business commandments. Let's roll. Number 1 is we don't blame other people or other communities or other races for our own problems. Even during the Holocaust, after that happened and we left Germany and we went to every other corner of the world, we did not look back with a chip on our shoulder. Rather, we looked forward to build with positivity and with hope. We leave the past in the past and we look brightly towards the future. Number 2, we aim for abundance in everything that it is that we do. Our benchmark is God himself. God is abundant. He is unlimited. So when we approach business or when we approach creating wealth for ourselves or our communities, we look at God as our benchmark. So we aim for abundance. Not enough just to get by, but abundance, because God himself is abundant. Number 3, we do not abandon our children, especially when it comes to making a living. We have a tradition that says that if a person does not teach his child how to make money, it's as if he's teaching his child theft. Why? Because if he doesn't know how to make money, his only option that he has to feed himself is to steal. So we have a big emphasis on teaching our children how to make a living. Number 4, we find businesses that are kosher and that also make a lot of money. Let me give you an example. You will be very hard-pressed to find an Orthodox Jewish man, or woman for that matter, that will own something like a strip club or in the pornography business. Why? Because it is not a kosher business. We want to make sure that we bring God into whatever it is that we're doing. We want to make sure that we could sleep well at night. So we go into kosher businesses that also make a lot of money. So there's plenty of kosher businesses out there, but those businesses don't make money. So the business has to be kosher and has to make a lot of money. Number 5, we do not work for other people. We try not to work for other people. There's a tradition that back in the days of the Torah, that if a person was a slave and they chose to work for their slave master, after 7 years, they were punished in a certain sense by nailing a nail into their ear and putting it on the wall. Why? Because ultimately a person should not be a slave to another person, but rather we should only be slaves to God. And we want to work for ourselves and only have God on top of us. That way we're able to bring down his infinite blessing. Number 6, we try to help members of our own community. That means that if we could award a person in our community from our synagogue a contract, we will try and do that, because we believe in supporting each other like a family. Imagine every community in the world. Imagine where you live right now. If everyone gave you the opportunity to win that business before they gave it to anybody else, imagine where you would be in your business, in your career. To start doing this in your communities, look, the next contract that you're going to award for your painting or your accounting, whatever that might be, try to give it to your next door neighbor. Try to give it to the person from your church or your mosque or your whatever. Support the members of your community. Number 7, we like to go into businesses with high profit margins and low risk and low competition. Right? You don't want to bet all of your money on the farm. At the end of the day, you don't want to get yourself so ingrained in making a living that you don't have your head left for anything else. You want to go into a business that makes you a lot of money, but you're not knee deep and eyeballs deep and having to figure out that business. Because life is a balance. It's not just about making the money, but it's about living a balanced life. So there's plenty of businesses out there that you can make money and still have your head so that you could devote it towards higher pursuits. Number 8, be honest in all of your business dealings. One of the 10 commandments is thou shalt not steal. Now, a lot of people mistake this. They think that if they can steal and people won't find out, then it's okay to steal. No. We believe that there is an eye that sees, an ear that hears, and all of our deeds are being recorded in a book. This extra layer of honesty and scrupulousness is what has allowed us to remain in business for long periods of time. Contrary to popular belief or popular culture that Jews are not honest in business, guys, let's be honest. You can't be around for this long in business and be dishonest. For sure, there's some characters, just like every race, every religion, every people has, that are not doing the right thing. And we pray for them, that they figure out the right way, the right path, the godly path. But at the end of the day, our Torah, our Bible, our 10 commandments tells us, thou shalt not steal. Number 9, give charity. When God sees that you are a good business partner for Him, meaning He gives you $100 and you take a tithe from that, you take 10% and you give $10 to your local community center, your local whatever it is, God will believe that you are a good business partner for Him, and God will want to do more business with you by sending you more clients and more contracts, because the return on investment with you is better than your Uncle Jimmy, who doesn't give a penny to anybody. Give charity. Number 10, probably maybe the most important, trust in God in everything that it is that you do. You ever notice that Jewish people are always starting businesses, always going into new industries, always doing new things? Why? What is the foundation of it? Because we trust in God. That trust allows us to take a leap to buy that piece of real estate. That trust in God allows us to take the leap to hire that employee, or to make that investment, or to start that new firm, or to launch that new piece of technology, because we believe that we're not in this alone. Rather, if we jump, we're connected by a safety rope that will save us. So number 10 is trust in God. You could do that right here, right now. Guys, if you made it with me this long into it, I want to congratulate you. I want to give you a blessing that everything should go well, revealed good in your life, in your business, in your career. Please do me a favor, smash that subscribe, leave me a like, leave me a comment. It's been a pleasure and honor dealing with you and being with you this far. And I'm going to try to put out one of these videos at least once or twice every single week to keep you guys informed and make sure everyone gets wealthy together. God bless. Have a great day. Welcome, everybody. If you are just joining after the fact, we're going to be discussing today something that I have personally been working on, struggling with, and seen so much power with, which is this: how to spend your money. I don't know about you guys, but right now, I'm genuinely nervous about what is going on in terms of inflation in this country. And I see that every single moment that goes by that I have money in my bank, right? Money in the bank right now is going down. So I have a problem right now. A lot of people are facing this problem. Is if you're a person that has money in the bank, which is a nice feeling, I'm not going to lie. I've been in the other position before. If you're a person that has money in the bank, what are you going to do with that money? Because every single moment it's going down. You know, I didn't think like this. I'll be honest with you. Before the pandemic, I was not thinking like this. Before the United States government decided to print trillions of dollars, I was not thinking like this. Money was secure in the bank. Now I'm looking at my bank account every single day and I'm saying to myself, I have a problem. What do I do with that money? What do I do with that liquidity in order that the money in the bank, instead of going down, how can I make that money go up? How can I make that money work for me? I'm going to give you a few examples of how you could do this. You know, you could have your money starting to work for you. First, I want to just give some shout outs to people that are joining. I love you guys dearly. I see here major investors. I do clean manure invest. Yanis, do you have a lot barrel? Let's keep on going, guys. Okay, guys, put your comments over here. Major investment says off market. I will give you shout outs. All right. Yes, I know we have a call in 10 minutes. I'm ready for it. Okay, here we go. So how to spend your money during inflation. Bank in the money in your bank accounts, the money that you have is going down, and I want that money to work for me. So I'll share with you some examples of how I'm taking money out of my bank and I'm having it work for me, right? So here's some very simple examples. Trade shows. I go to trade shows that cost, some of them cost up to $20,000 to be at that trade show. You might say to yourself, wow, Beryl, that's crazy. How can you spend $20,000 on a trade show? Well, I've got news for you. If I keep that $20,000 in my bank, what's going to happen to it? It's going down in value. If I take that $20,000 and I move that into some sort of forward moving vehicle, in this case, it happens to be a trade show, right? Let's say, then I'm going to be able to take that $20,000, and from that, I might be able to multiply it by 5. Right? So now in my bank, I'll have $100,000 from that $20,000 investment. People are scared to invest. You know, right now, my wife and I are contemplating going to a Passover program. And it's expensive. You know, take a whole family there. It's going to cost about $30,000 to go there. And my wife says to me, well, isn't that a lot of money? Isn't that expensive? I said, yes, but do you realize the type of people that we're going to meet at this program? Do you realize that every other person spent $30,000 in order to be here? That's a room full of people that I want to be a part of. And I want to tell you guys that in order to, you know, I'm a big proponent. I actually don't believe in order to make money, you need money. I do not believe in that. I believe in order to make money, you need courage. Now, once you got the money, once you have the courage and you have the money, now what do you do with it? So I'm going to give you some examples. I don't like to pontificate. If you guys know me and you're following me for any amount of time, you know that I don't like to just talk just to talk. When I talk, I like to share with you real world experience, what it is that I'm doing, and share that with you. So what am I doing practically speaking? How am I investing my money right now? You know, a lot of people on here are writing, I see they're writing real estate. I don't have time to wait right now. I need to multiply. I need to make my streams go fast. I need to make my streams explode, right? So if a person used to be, was making, let's say, $500,000 a year before COVID, okay, or even $100,000 a year before COVID, right now, that same guy that was making his $100,000 a year, that 100 G's is not enough. It's not. I see it. Everything's becoming more expensive. You cannot deny it. This is an undeniable fact. That $100,000 will not cut it in today's market. You need today, if you were making $100,000 before, you need $150,000 today, right? And the question is, how do you do that? How do you achieve that? How do you get to that? And the answer is by willing to invest in yourself, in your business. You know, I have clients, they said to me recently, they said they have a business that they could invest in. And I said to them, guys, so what was the investment? It was about $100,000. So I said to them, guys, I don't want you to invest $100,000 into somebody else's business. I want you to take that $100,000 and I want you to do an exercise. All right, take that $100,000. They have liquid in the bank. They have cash that they want to invest. They're thinking about investing in another business. And I said, how could you spend that $100,000 in your business? Spend that in your own business. I'm going to put here life, okay? Spend that in your life. How could you? Here's an example of something that does not make you money, okay? When a person goes out and buys a big, fancy, I don't know, Gucci bag. I mean, for the men watching this, I don't know if you're buying yourself Gucci bags, but for men to go buy himself a Rolex is also a good purchase today because Rolex is appreciated in value. But for a person to go buy a big fancy car, okay, perfect example. You're going to buy yourself a Bentley, whatever it is, or a Ferrari, or a Rolls, or whatever it is. It's going to cost you money. It is not making you money. Versus if you take that same money and you put it into something that will actually make you money. And it doesn't have to be real estate. Again, I know people on here are writing real estate. There's other ways to invest your money besides real estate. So what am I doing in my business, right? So I gave my clients a challenge, and I like to accept my own challenges. I said, take that $100,000 and try to spend that theoretically in your business. So I want to give you guys an exercise right now, okay? Whatever amount of money you have in the bank, how would you spend that money in order to make you more money? All right? How would you spend that money in order to make yourself more money? So I'm going to tell you what I'm doing personally. Like I said, I like to share with you. I like to share with you guys what I'm doing to invest in my business, okay? So number one is I'm hiring a full-time, I'm hiring a full-time videographer just for myself, just to follow your boy, Beryl Solomon, Big B, around 24 hours a day, 6 days a week. I'm hiring a full-time videographer. Why? Because when you have exposure, when people know you, they can buy from you. I don't know how people get business today. I don't know how people do that without social media. The only way that I get business is social media. I don't understand how people are doing it. So number one way, so I'm hiring a full-time videographer. It's going to cost me $1,000 a week, which is, let's call it $50,000 a year. Okay, bang. Number two, I'm hiring a full-time social media manager for myself. I've been doing all this stuff on my own this entire time. And to be honest with you, I'm getting tired of it. And not only am I getting tired of it, I cannot do it at scale that I want to do it at scale if I don't have somebody doing it for me. Every minute that I'm spending making a post is a minute that I'm wasting where I could be making a sale. So I'm going to have somebody do this for me full time. It's going to cost me another 50 G's. So I spent $100,000 to grow my business. Number three, I'm going to start paying for ads. I'm going to start paid advertising. I never did that before. Paid advertising. I'm going to go big. I want to spend $100,000 between now and this year and next year. I want to spend $100,000 on paid advertising. So if you add this all up, for example, the 50 G's, the 100 G's, if you add that all up, that's $200,000. So if I kept that $200,000, I have two options, right? I could A, keep that $200,000 in the bank. All right, which by this time next year, $200,000 in the bank will have the buying power, I feel. Again, it's my gut, and I'm an economist. I didn't read this in Forbes, all right, for all the fact checkers out there. But I think that same $200,000 next year is going to be worth $150,000 worth of buying power, right? If I don't spend it, I'm still going to have the $200,000. But when I go to buy something, it's going to be as if I only have $150,000 in the bank, right? Because everything will have gone up in prices. I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, but we'll do a different class on inflation in a separate time. So I could take that I could leave it in the bank, and it will just depreciate, right? It'll become worth nothing. Or I can invest that $200,000 in my business, and I could turn my company, instead of it doing, let's say, $3 million a year in sales, right? I want to push that number up. Let me see if I can get it cranking at $6 million in sales. So I take that $200,000 and I invest it back into my business, back into my organization, back into my people, back into all these things in order to increase my cash flow. Right? So that's the name of the game right now. I feel right now that we're in a time where money in the bank is dangerous. I never felt that way. I'll be honest with you. I always felt that it was secure, it was stable. Money in the bank today is dangerous. You got to figure out, what can I do? You have to look at the capital. I'm talking to myself, by the way. You think I do this for you? I do this for me, all right? I'm looking at my capital right now in my bank, and I'm saying, what can I do with this capital in order to explode my other revenue streams? Who can I hire? What trade show could I go to? What ads could I spend? What program can I buy? What coach can I hire in order to be able to grow my revenue for the company? We're on? Guys, it's been a pleasure. I'm going to just take questions. I have a phone call that's going to be happening right now. So just when the guy answers, just let me know and I'll get off the live. Let me just read some of these comments. Guys, thank you so much for being here. You can hang out in here. Just let me know when he comes on. Here we go. Samuel, hello. Cheryl Longstand, that makes perfect sense. Thank you. Elan Pateo, marketing/product enhancement. 100%. Hell, Winderbrat, like the Ray-Ban glasses. Thank you. LinkedIn user, people get loans, mortgages, drink and eat on credit cards, yet call investing in stock market risky. LOL. Yes, I totally agree with you. Svea K, thank you. Perfect topic. Yanis, I live with beans. Right, so this is what really bothered me. I don't know if you guys saw this, but the U.S. government put out this thing. So stupid. I'm telling you, we're living in such stupid times. They put out this thing, one of the newspapers said that people should eat beans, take the bus, and they should, what was the other stupid thing that they told people to do? And get electric cars. So, and get used to it. No one said it's going to be easy. You think I want to get used to living low? Who wants to get used to that? Who's going to give up? No one's giving up anything. How could you ask somebody to give up parts of their life? I'm not asking anybody here. I'm not giving up a thing. I'm never going to give up anything. The opposite is going to happen. With God's help, I'm going to reinvest in my company. I'm going to spend money where money needs to be spent. I'm going to go balls to the wall, and I'm going to grow my company with the one above's help. I'm not cutting back on nothing. That is not part of the game plan. I never signed up for this, and I never will. It's about going big, going hard, going strong. And it's time to take off the brakes, ladies and gentlemen. We got to take off anybody ever here, you ever by accident when you first started to drive, you had your car and you drove with the handbrake on and just like something didn't feel right. Like no matter how hard you pressed on that gas pedal, the second you took it off, it sucked the energy out of the car. You slowed down, it stopped, it was difficult to move forward. People have their handbrakes on. It's time to take the handbrakes off. It's time to go. By the way, I'm not telling anybody here to go and be reckless. Don't spend your last Don't spend your last $2, right? When you have to feed your family tonight, don't spend your last $2 or your last 2 pennies. You have to be diligent. You have to be responsible. I suggest you speak to a mentor, a successful business person that you know, and ask them for your advice. But I know what I'm doing. I'm investing. I'm investing in my business, and I'm investing in, like I said, the cash flow of the company. Elias is watching this right now. He likes the. You like the plan, Elias?
I love the plan.
You love it?
I love the plan.
He likes it. You know what?
It's a nice camera.
Right, thank you. Why do you like investing in the company? Tell me why it makes sense.
Because it frees up time and allows us to make moves quicker, faster, and get to people that we weren't able to get to before.
Bang. Does money in the bank help us?
Money in the bank feels great.
It feels great. It feels good. But at the end of the day, like I said, I have a genuine concern that money in the bank is going down. It is not going up. Are you joining my live over here? You can. Okay. So is he ready?
Yeah, he's ready to go.
Okay, guys, I have a phone call I have to go to. I love you guys dearly. And listen, take it for what it's worth. I just outlined to you Big B's, Beryl Solomon's plan of action for the next few months. I'm going big. I'm going hard. It's time to invest in our own businesses, our own companies, our own products, our own deals. I love you guys. Have a great day. I don't think it's anti-Semitism when the world says that Jews are good at business or that I don't think it's anti-Semitism when people say that Jewish people are good at business or that we control certain industries. To be honest with you, I kind of take it as a compliment. And if the whole world is saying it, then it must be true. So instead of screaming from the rooftops anti-Semitism, what I would like to do with you right here and right now, I would like to teach you one major Jewish business secret, a principle that will not only change your life, but will change the lives of everybody around you and of your entire community community, whichever community that you come from. So buckle up, watch the rest of this video. It's going to bring a lot of success, God willing, to you and your community and everybody around you. So let's hop in. So one incredible Jewish business secret is the idea of community itself. Okay, so here's how the world usually works. So you have people that are alone, right? You graduate from school and you try to go into the workforce, you open up a business, and you don't have anybody that's really vouching for you. So you're like a single individual trying to provide products and services to this world that in itself is distrustful. And that's on the good end. On the bad end, you grew up in a community that when you are trying to do things and trying to be successful, the community is actually working against you. They don't want to see you succeed. They don't want to see you do better than them. And they don't want to see you move forward. And that's the way that most people in the world, friends have told me, that that's how they've grown up and that's been their experience in business. So the Jewish community is very different. The Jewish community helps each other in business. And for many reasons, and I want to explain to you exactly what those are, and then I'm going to explain to you how you could apply these concepts and principles in your community and start changing everything around you. So here are some reasons why we support each other in business. So number one is, there's a commandment: love your neighbor like you love yourself. In other words, just like you want to be successful in your heart, you should want to wish that on other people. Because at the end of the day, we all come from one source. When you do well, the other person should also do well. And when somebody else does well, it does not take away from you. You should love the person so much that you want other people in your community to do well. So that's number one. Number two, the people in your community, you see them every single day. You see them as you're dropping your kids off at school, you're praying next to them in your house of worship, or you're in line with them at the grocery store. And you want to see the people around you succeed. Number three, when the people in your community are doing well and they are able to give charity, they're able to give back to the community. We want people in our synagogues and in our schools, we want them to do well, because when people are making money, that means that they could give money back to our community. So we want to help the people in our community because it just becomes a whole snowball effect. And number four, one of the main reasons why we do business with each other is because there's a trust factor. We know that when we do business with each other, if we have a problem, we could go to our rabbi and he's going to help us solve it. Or if we don't have a rabbi involved, we could go to a friend that we know knows the both of us. So there's a certain element of trust when you're dealing with people in your community that allows you to build business and to build trust a lot faster than if you're just coming as a stranger. So the advantage to working with your own community is you could break into markets much faster than if you were trying to convince strangers to work with you, because there's all that goodwill that exists between you guys. So now you might be asking, practically speaking, how can you implement this in your neighborhood, in your faith, in your religion, in your culture, in your color, in your creed? How could you start to do this in your communities? And I'm going to tell you exactly how. Number one is, you know the expression buy local, right? You see this in supermarkets, you see this in towns all the time. Buy locally from the people that are living in your community. That means if you are a Hindu and you need to paint your house and there is a Hindu company down the street, use them. Work with your own kind. Buy local. Fubu was really good at this, by the way. For us, by us. He created something that was brilliant. Number two, let's say one of your cousins needs a loan for a business to start it. Give him the loan. Help the people around you. Don't watch them fall, but you want to help the people around you stand up. Number three, be happy for each other when each other succeeds. In Yiddish, the word is fargin. When you see your neighbor, your cousin, your uncle, your brother, when you see your friend, your schoolmate, when you see them doing well, enjoy that success. Be happy for them, because if you hate them, if you hate their success, you will never be successful on your own, because whatever it is that you hate, you're going to stay away from. Be happy for the people in your community when they start succeeding. Number four, ask the people in your community for opportunities. And don't be be proud. Don't be too afraid. You guys have to start to use each other as building blocks. Use each other to climb up like a wall, like a climbing wall. Use the people around you. You know successful business people that are from your community. Go to those people and ask for opportunity. Don't be too proud. Don't be too proud. If they're not going to give you the business, who will? Go to the people around you and ask for opportunity. Number 5, maybe even most important, make sure to give charity locally. Because when you give charity locally, people are going to want to see you succeed. If they know that you're giving back to their schools, their mosques, their churches, their whatever it is, and they see that you're giving back, they're going to want to give you business, because giving you business is good for them indirectly. And the most important is encourage others in your community to also give charity, so that you guys all have a common goal and you guys move together as one. So I hope you enjoyed this. I'm going to keep on doing this. Please, if this is the first time you're following on my channel, you enjoy this, please hit the subscribe button, please hit the like button, please leave a comment. I'm going to be dropping these type of videos, dropping Jewish business secrets on you guys over the next few weeks, and I'm excited to keep on doing it. Thank you for being here. God bless, and I'm excited to see you and your community succeed beyond your wildest dreams. There is a secret to wealth that the Jewish people have known for thousands of years. It was hidden inside of the Bible and was not ready to come out until this very last generation. You see, we're all ruled by one power, by one force, by one creator, and we all are subject to his laws. And when we know how to apply that to our lives, we're able to unleash wealth that we never thought possible.
The last business has been the most successful one.
I cannot explain how that opened up the possibilities of businesses.
Our minds are so small, and it's only us that limit the capacity of Hashem. We're sweating for our money.
So I continued to learn and study more, and I came across the magic phrase I'm about to tell you that changed my life forever and is about to change your life forever. This is a hot take from an Orthodox Jewish man on the whole Kyrie Irving and Kanye West saga. At the end of the day, what did Kyrie Irving share? He shared a documentary about how the blacks are the real Jews. And I gotta tell you, as a Jewish person, does it offend me? It doesn't really offend me at all, to be honest with you, for a whole myriad of reasons. First of all, I'm totally comfortable with who I am. So anybody could stand up and say that they're whoever. It doesn't shake me, it doesn't faze me. That's number 1. Number 2 is, I think that it's a good thing, to be honest with you. I know what Judaism stands for. So the real question is what is Judaism? Not who is a Jew. That we could debate forever, and there's no real end to that debate. But what is Judaism at the end of the day? Let's get into that, because that's at the core of what it is. And if black people are claiming that they're the real Jews, well, great. Let's talk about Judaism, all right? Judaism started at the foot of Mount Sinai, right? So God came down and brought the 10 Commandments to the Jewish people at the foot of Mount Sinai, and the Jewish people had a responsibility to follow that and also bring the concept of monotheism, the concept of one God, to the rest of the world. So that's what it is we're talking about. Who stood at the foot of Mount Sinai? Debate that for the rest of your lives. But let's talk about that actual 10 Commandments. Let's talk about the Torah. Let's talk about that book. Let's talk about what's in it. All right? Because that's what counts. At the end of the day, that's what God wants from us. That's what God wants from humanity. So in that book were things like don't steal, don't kill, don't murder, respect your parents, be just, set up a court system, don't torture animals, be a good person. Don't do to other people what you wouldn't want done to yourself. And to worship one God. Don't have multiple gods. Don't have deity. Don't bow down to idols. Don't profane God's name. Don't say, "Odd damn it," right? Which people really like to say. And that, at the core, at the essence, is what Judaism is all about. It's about bringing godliness to the world, bringing the concept of one God to the world, making the world, this physical world that we live in, making this place out here a place where God feels comfortable to be. In Hebrew, it's called a dira betachtonim, a place where God could feel comfortable in this world. Imagine that you had a king and he was coming to town, or a queen, she was coming to town, and she was going to come visit your house. You want to make sure that your house is immaculate. If the queen is used to having tea and crumpets at 3 o'clock, and she likes English tea, you want to make sure that at 3 o'clock there's tea and crumpets and there's English tea. A queen does not like a messy house. A queen does not like when kids are fighting. She likes peace. And that's what we have to do. We have to make this world into a more godly place, a place where God himself feels comfortable. It doesn't matter who's Jewish. It matters what Judaism says. This is a reaction from an Orthodox Jewish person to the statements and the rants that Kanye West has been going on recently. First of all, let me tell you why this is personally upsetting, because before I was religious, I actually really liked listening to Kanye West's music. I loved The College Dropout. I loved his music. I thought that he was brilliant. And I sort of have been watching him spiral out of control the past year or two, where he's not really making a lot of sense. His whole life seems to be imploding and falling apart around him. And his recent, let's not call it anti-Semitic, let's call it anti-Jewish sentiments is so strange, how that's like at the middle of his delusions, of him spiraling out of control. I actually don't really find a lot of what he says anti-Semitic, like saying that Jewish people run the media business in Hollywood. I mean, I think to a certain degree, a person could say that. I think that that's true. I think there are a lot of Jews in that business, and I think that that's okay. And I don't find that anti-Semitic that he says that, you know, you're working for a Jewish manager, or that Jewish people own the own Disney. First of all, I don't even know if that's true. I don't really find that anti-Semitic. I actually find it kind of a compliment. What I find is anti-Semitic is where the hatred comes from, right? So, you know, just to play on the whole rappers game, hate the game, don't hate the player. And, you know, to say that Jews are privileged, or somehow that they are taking advantage of other people, or that they have some sort of privilege that other people don't, it's so what's the word I'm looking for? Uneducated, right? So Jewish people came to America after the Holocaust, after they rebuilt, after nothing. 6 million of us were obliterated. And we came here and we sweat and we worked. And yes, we take care of our communities. And yes, we take care of each other. And yes, we don't wish harm on each other. And yes, we help each other when we can. And can you fault us for that? So instead of looking to us and hating us for those things, because when you hate something, you will never attain that thing that you hate, because the hate keeps you away from that. But really, if you look at what he's trying to say underneath it all, underneath the gibberish, underneath the stupidity, what is he trying to say really? That he admires the Jewish people. He admires their business prowess. He admires the fact that they take care of each other. He admires that community. And I think if the world stopped looking at us as something that needs to be defeated, or something that needs to be put down, or something that needs to be taken over, and they start looking at us as a model to base their businesses on, to base their communities on, to base their family lives on. Look, guys, let's call it what it is. The Jewish people have been around for 4,000 years. You're going to pick up something in 4,000 years. It's just natural. You're going to pick up business tips. You're going to pick up community tips. You're going to pick up marriage tips. You're going to pick up tips on how to raise your children, just by sheer amount of time. And I think that what bothers me the most is really anti-Semitism today. It's really just people being haters, and it's petty and it's small. And I actually, in my content, I do my best to give away Jewish business secrets. Because at the end of the day, we were tasked to be a light unto the nations. And if we continue to spread light and continue to spread goodness and kindness, I hope that it will cut through the darkness that all of these people are putting out there. And I also want to throw this out there too, is that I believe that we have a lot of friends out there. When I say we, I mean the Jewish people have a lot of friends out there. And contrary to the greasy, the wheel, the squeaky wheel that's looking for the grease, the Kanye West of the world that's looking to take a cheap shot, those are the people that are loud. Those are the loud voices. But I do believe that the vast majority of people, just like Jewish people, we have no qualms with anybody. We love Muslims, we love Christians, we love Hindus, we love every in our culture, every person is a creation of God, and therefore every person deserves to be respected. We don't hold malice for anybody in our hearts. And I truly believe that the vast majority of the world believes the same way. Unfortunately, these crazy people get the most noise and get the most coverage. So that's my hot take on Kanye West in a few minutes here, is really that don't hate us because you ain't us. Is look at our community, and instead of being jealous of the community, say, what can we learn from this community? And I'm happy to help in any way that I can to come inspire any community out there and to impart some of the things that we've learned in almost our 4,000-year history. God bless you guys. Thank you for watching this. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button. Please hit a like. Please leave a comment. I would love to hear your thoughts on the unfolding saga. God bless you guys. Have a great day. I want to share with you a classic entrepreneur mistake that I myself am guilty of from time to time, and it goes like this. As entrepreneurs, we always want new, fresh, shiny stuff, new businesses, new products, new services, new lines, whatever it might be. But in those times that you're doing that research or you're launching those new products and those new businesses, it's important not to forget about your bread and butter. What is currently paying your bills right now? You cannot lose focus of that. You have to make sure that your first stream is absolutely rock solid and you're continuing to pour fire on that exact business or that line of revenue, because that is what is going to help float you into your next venture. You know, I have one of my friends. They own a company. They do $1.5 billion in sales. Gigantic, family friends, beautiful people. And he once told me that in your business dealings, 90% of your energy has to be focused on your current bread and butter business. 8% should be focused on your future businesses and lines and products, and 2% on dreams. As entrepreneurs, sometimes we focus on the 2% more than the 8% or even the 90%. Let me just break it down for you and tell you in my personal experience where I've made this mistake and how we're correcting it. So we started 6 years ago in the video production business, and it took me a minute to, I say that figuratively, a long time. It took me maybe a year or two to really find my groove in that business. Which industry needed us, which industry didn't, where we're able to pack the most punch with the most amount of profit, with the least amount of effort, and the best and the least amount of competition. And that for us happened to have been doing videos for the healthcare industry, specifically for nursing homes and assisted living facilities. And over the past 6 years, we've perfected that domain to the point that somebody could call us, and even if they have 100 facilities, we could accomplish creating videos for those facilities within like 30 days. We are so incredibly efficient, so cost effective, our quality is so high, and we blow the competition out of the water, and that's really what's been sustaining our business for the past 5-6 years. Now, I am an entrepreneur. I like new things. I like new businesses. I like new ideas. I like new products. I like new services. I'm always chasing them. And there were times where I neglected the bread and butter of my business. And I would go into new businesses in order to try to expand my horizons, which is okay. So we had a meeting recently in our company, and we decided that we're now going to double down on our video production business, specifically for the healthcare space. How are we doing it practically? We're going to more trade shows, we're going to more conferences, we're expanding the types of facilities that we're doing, so we're not just going to focus just on, let's say, nursing homes and assisted livings, but we're going to go towards other multi-locational based facilities, and we're going to focus and double down on that business. Now, doesn't mean I don't go after the new stuff, by the way. I'm still approaching the new stuff with as much intensity and vigor as I did with my original business. But I now have solidified the base, right? I shored up the base. I added fuel to that fire. God, please may it be successful. Of course, everything is in his hands. And once that base is solidified and there's a stable flow of income coming in, that gives me the peace of mind to explore new avenues. Now, our coaching business is going good as well, right? So that's a try, test, and improve in business. Right now, I don't know of any other company, for sure in the Jewish world, that has a coaching firm where we have multiple coaches working for us. Most companies, most coaches are a one-man show or a one-woman show. We have a dozen coaches working for us. We perfected that model. We know how to bring clients in. We know how to match them up. We know how to make sure that they're successful, and we've become top dogs in that domain. So my next round of meetings will be, how do we shore up that current business model that's tried, tested, and proven? By the way, to end up with these two business models, I had to blow through a dozen ideas of things that didn't work in order to be left with these two. So once you've located what it is that is working, focus on that and pour fire and gasoline on that in order to have that as the main revenue source that will propel your future businesses. So now what are we doing? Now that I'm shoring up my old businesses, old, I don't like to call them old because I love them, my great, let's call them stable businesses. Now that I'm shoring up my stable businesses, my next move is to go build now my third business, which is import and export and light manufacturing in Latin America. But I learned the hard way that you cannot take your eye off the ball of your current businesses. You cannot sacrifice your current businesses for the sake of your potential future business. Because if you do that, then you're always just, as they say, trading 4 quarters for $1. And you want to make sure that every time that you're trading up and not trading sideways. I hope this brought you value. If you guys enjoyed this, please hit the like button, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. I would love to continue to bring content and value to you and your business and your life every single day. Thank you for being with me. If you made it this far in the video, you and I are friends, and I love you dearly for that. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with your boy, Big B. I love you guys. Have a great day. Anything great that I've ever accomplished in my life, with God's help, of course, never happened without obstacles. Most people, when they encounter an obstacle, their natural tendency is to back down. Right? They retreat. They go away from the obstacle. And the problem is that if you're constantly running away from obstacles, then you can never actually achieve what it is you want to achieve. You have to know that anything that you're going to do in your life, you will have an obstacle. So the question is what do you do when you face those obstacles? So what I've done in my life that has brought me the most results is, as soon as I see an obstacle, instead of running away and retreating, the opposite. I actually start attacking the obstacle from all different types of angles, right? I get on the phone, I get on emails, I speak to friends, I speak to mentors, I speak to conciliaries to help me get through the obstacle. And I start attacking the obstacle with 10 times the amount of force and power than I had originally thought possible. A lot of people right now are down and out, right? You have companies that can't hire. You have companies that can't find talent. You have people that are having trouble making sales because their industry got decimated because of COVID. Everything changed because of this whole thing, and people are still attacking their goals with the same amount of force, right? So you have to go 10x at whatever it is you're looking to do, right? It means turning up the volume. It means turning up the heat. It means getting powerful in what it is that you're looking to do, instead of attacking things with apathy. I see so much apathy in the market. I see so much apathy in people. As soon as something rough comes along their way, they don't know how to deal with it. What this whole concept comes back to is a concept called massive action. most people are not taking enough action in whatever it is that they're trying to do. I'm going to give you an example of massive action. When I first started Wealthy Commercials, there was a prospect in Florida that I was trying to get his business, and he was not having it. He did not want us to come out. He did not want us to make a video. He did not want us to make a commercial. And I messaged him. I sent him an email. I'm coming to Florida. I'll be there in 2 weeks with my videographer, and we're going to film. He never answered me. I booked my flight, and I went anyways. And I showed up at his front door with a videographer on a Tuesday morning. He opened the door. He was stunned. They said, "Sir, we're here to do your commercial for you." Once I was there, it was very hard for him to say no. We filmed the entire day. We spent the day filming his commercial. We made a brilliant product for him. And at the end of the day, I had a problem because I had not been paid anything yet. Keep in mind, I took money out of my pocket to hop on a flight to go there. I took a risk, but I did it anyways. And I sat in his office at the end of our day of shooting, of filming. And I said to him, "I need money. I'm starting a business. I'm young. And I need cash flow." I fought with him back and forth until he gave me a 50% deposit on the deal. Bang! I was in the money. Why? Because I took massive action. Most people are not willing to go through that. Most people are playing it safe. You have to take yourself out of the safe zone. If this is where your safe zone is, most people are hanging around here, the safe zone. You're going to step into danger. You're going to step into what are people not willing to do. You think that all the successful people in the world, do you think that they play in the safe zone? They take risks. They hop on planes. They do things without guarantees. And that's the level that you have to get to if you want to be successful. Let's go. Next. Right, so I have Wealthy Commercials video production company running. I have Wealthy Coaching running. We have over 50 clients right now. I'm up to my gills when it comes to running that company, but I want more. So what do? We put together this Wealthy Growth Conference, which is happening October 27th in Montreal. So we put this together, this Wealthy Coaching Conference. Why? Because we want to help people, just like you that are watching this right now, reach that level of massive action. To understand that you could be doing multiple things at the same time. A lot of people think that I do one thing at a time. You know what the problem with one is? That one could get canceled very easily. So in your main business, if another coronavirus hits and you are in the event planning business, guess what? Your one went to zero. A lot of people think in terms of ones. You got to think in terms of 10. How could I 10x? How could I bring more revenue into my company? How could I be protected in order that if there's another economic crisis, or if there's another pandemic, or if there's another who knows what, you lose your biggest client, you're protected, and all comes with massive action. So many people are playing it safe because they're scared. They're scared to fail. Fear is what keeps people safe. They think because they're scared, they want to stay in a safe zone. The funny thing is this is the place where you want to be. You want to feel fear. You want to feel overwhelmed. You want to feel like you're doing things that are too big for your bridges, because when you're feeling that, it means you're actually reaching your potential. I'll be honest with you guys, when the pandemic hit, I started selling masks, and I did very, very well with masks. Probably sold over 10 million masks. I was the biggest mask distributor. 10 million masks. I was the biggest mask distributor in Canada for a solid 2 months, and we did very well with masks. You know what the problem was? I got comfortable. I wasn't so quick to start back up my video production company because I had done so much business on the masks. But the problem was when the masks fell off, I was left with zero. And because I took my eye off the ball of my video production company, I had to start my video production company from zero. A lot of people take their eye off the ball. They have a stream of revenue, and they're not giving it enough love. People think that the grass is greener on the other side. Guess what? It's because the guy is paying better attention to his grass. That's why it's greener. He waters it, he trims it, he gives it fertilizer, and he makes love to his grass. Okay? Right now, you're not making love to your grass. You're looking at your neighbor's grass and wishing you were making love to that. Okay, so it's time to bring your focus back on your businesses, back on your revenue streams, back on where you're making your money. So after I took my eye off the ball because of the mask, I said, hey, I cannot do this anymore. The mask business fell apart. I had to go back into Wealthy Commercials, so I had to crank that up. We cranked up the volume on Wealthy Commercials 10x. We're doing much better in the business before the pandemic, thank God. Then Wealthy Coaching business, I had to crank up the volume there. And now we're going now into the conference space because the pandemic is waning, and now we can actually have conferences. Guess what? We're going back. We're going back into the conference business, but we're going back into it 10 times where we were. So whatever business, whatever stage you're finding yourself in, you have to go back, but not go back the way that you're used to. You have to go back and not be afraid of being dangerous. Become the most dangerous guy or girl in your space. Be willing to make a mistake. Be willing to get overwhelmed. And be willing to go somewhere where you didn't go before. Thank you for watching this, guys. I really appreciate it. If you are not following me already, please click the follow button. Click the subscribe button. Give me a like, give me a comment. My name is Beryl Solomon. I'm here for you every day, pulling for you every day to make sure that you're a champion. On October 27th, right here in Montreal, 2021, we're doing an in-person executive growth conference. We're only allowing 30 people in. It's $3,000 a ticket. Right now, it's only $1,000 a ticket. We're running an early bird special. Hit up my company, send me a DM, leave in the comments that you want to attend, and my office will reach out to you. I would love to see you here October 27th. I love you guys. Be well. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Beryl Solomon again. I am your trusted Jewish business advisor. Yes, I said it. I am a Jewish business advisor. I'm trying to play on this whole thing that the whole world says that we run industries and we control the banks and we, all these things. Instead of running away from it or calling it anti-Semitism, I'm going to lean into it and take it as a compliment. You guys are convincing me it must be true if you guys keep on saying it. So I'm just going to use this as an opportunity to maybe introduce you to some Jewish business secrets, some Jewish business principles to help you grow your career, your business, your life, and to spend a little bit of time with you. So let's jump right in. Let's talk about when things go wrong, right? So we know what to do when things go right. Everybody's going to tell you how to build your business, how to run your marketing, how to make sales and all these things when things are going great. What about when things are not going good? Because if you've been in business for any amount of time, you know that things tend to not go well often. So I'm going to give you a perfect example, something that happened in my company just today. I have two companies. One is a video production firm that specializes mainly in healthcare, and another one is an executive coaching firm. We have a dozen coaches that coach over 100 clients in 5 countries. But I'll tell you something happened in our video production company today. One of our clients was extremely dissatisfied with the pictures that one of our photographers took at their healthcare facility. And the project manager who was running that project in my company, he called me in the morning freaking out that it looks like we're losing the client, and the client already told us there's nothing to do, and it's a lost case and it's a lost cause, and lose their number, and they're never doing business with us ever again. So the project manager was beside himself. He's freaking out. He's having a panic attack, an anxiety attack. He's mad at everybody. And I said, let's use this as an opportunity to deepen our relationship with this company. So what did I do? I picked up the phone. I called the owner of that company, who happens to be my friend, and I said, I want to let you know the person working for you, let's call her Victoria. Victoria is not happy with us because the pictures didn't turn out the way that she wanted them to. We will take full responsibility for that. I will send another crew to redo it from scratch and make sure that you're happy, because I think that it would be a shame if we ended our business relationship now. And I want to let you know that I want to crack at your entire portfolio. They have over 30 facilities. And he said to me, wow, I really appreciate that. And yes, once this one goes well, I would like to do the rest of them in the very near future. Cha-ching, right? So I got off the phone. I said, thank you. I personally called their marketing person who we've been working with Victoria. And I said, Victoria, hi, my name is Beryl Solomon. I'm the owner of this company. And I want to let you know that I've been monitoring the situation very closely. And I've spoken to your boss. And I have agreed to offer a free redo of the project just to make sure that you are 100% happy. And by the way, your boss thinks that you're the best. Okay? So she was so overjoyed, and Victoria was so happy to hear this. She says, you know what? You guys are the best. I'm really excited to work with you. And I said, hey, there's even an opportunity that we could potentially do the entire portfolio with you guys. And she said, I would love that. I love working with you guys. So this is a perfect example of how to turn a seemingly bad situation in business, a seemingly dissatisfied customer, to actually take that and use it as an opportunity to grow your business, to grow your clout, to build your relationship, and to really show your clients that you're there for the extra mile, and you will have new opportunities that will come your way as a result. I hope this information found you well. If you enjoyed this video, please smash that subscribe button, hit the like button, leave me a comment. I would love to hear from you, and I might even hit you back in the comment section. Thank you so much for joining. God bless, and have a great day. How to fire your employees. Everybody's talking today about retention. How do we hire? How do we make everybody so happy? Okay, there's plenty of books written about that. There's plenty of content on the internet. But what there's not a lot of content on, because it's not popular to talk about, is how to fire your employees. If you can't fire properly, then you can't hire properly. Let me say it again. If you can't fire, then you can't hire. Why? Because there's most likely people that are in your organization that suck. So let's go. I'm going to teach you how to fire people. This is not legal advice. I'm not a lawyer. Speak to your lawyer for legal questions. This is just advice that I have accumulated knowledge and experience. My 10, 15 years of business. And you know what? It's a skill that you, as a business owner, as a boss, have to know. So let's go. Number one, trust your gut. If there's somebody in your office and you can't stare them in the face and they're creating drama and you would rather not work with that person or see them ever again in your life, it is time to let that person go. Number two, make a list of all the reasons why you're not happy with that person. That way, when you do sit down with them to fire them, you have the list right there in front of you, and if they really push you to understand why they're getting let go, bang, you have your list right in front of you. 3, call them in at the end of the day to let them go. You don't want to fire somebody in the middle of the day. First of all, it's not nice to them. It's embarrassing for them to have to walk out and pack their things in the middle of the day. And also, you don't want them to make a scene. So either let them go at the beginning of the day before everybody gets in, or let them go at the end of the day once everybody has left, so that they could walk out with their heads held high. Number 4, rip off the Band-Aid. When I'm sitting with somebody and I have to let them go, within the first 10 seconds, here's my sentence, I use it every time, you could use it in your own situation. I say to them, hey, Joe, I'm gonna have to let you go. Just like that. Don't pussyfoot around it. Don't sugarcoat around it. Don't tell them, I'm thinking of letting you go. Don't be like Donald Trump and say, you're fired, because that's also not nice also. And then, from there, you